Definite purpose is the anchor of a successful life and the antidote to drifting from year to year without meaningful progress. Napoleon Hill taught that most people fail not because they lack talent or opportunity, but because they lack a clear and specific aim. A person without purpose is like a ship without a rudder, tossed about by the winds of circumstance, going wherever external forces push it, but never reaching a chosen destination. To avoid wasting another year, one must begin with the conscious choice of a definite major purpose, a single overarching goal that serves as the guiding star for daily actions and long-term plans. This clarity creates direction, focus, and determination, turning time from something that slips away into something that is deliberately invested. A definite purpose gives life meaning. Many individuals wander through their days reacting to circumstances rather than shaping them, busy but not productive, working hard but not moving closer to anything significant. They may achieve small successes here and there, but without an overarching aim, these accomplishments feel scattered and unsatisfying. Hill believed that every individual has within them the power to define their purpose, and once that is done, all effort gains coherence. Instead of spending another year unsure of where life is heading, one can focus energy on a vision that provides motivation and fuels persistence. The purpose itself becomes a source of strength, inspiring action even in difficult times, because the individual knows the struggle is leading somewhere worthwhile. Clarity of purpose also improves decision making. When confronted with choices, people without a goal often waver, second, guess, or default to the easiest option. This indecisiveness wastes time and erodes confidence. By contrast, a person with a definite aim has a simple filter. Does this choice bring me closer to my purpose, or does it take me farther away? That filter reduces confusion, eliminates wasted effort, and sharpens focus. Each decision becomes purposeful, and over weeks and months, these aligned choices accumulate into major progress. One of the greatest dangers Hill warned against is drifting, a life lived passively, waiting for luck or chance. A definite purpose puts an end to drifting, replacing it with intentional living. Another benefit of purpose is the way it channels energy. Human beings have limited time and vitality, and scattering them across too many pursuits leads to mediocrity. Hill insisted that concentration of effort is essential. Just as sunlight focused through a magnifying glass can ignite a flame, personal energy focused on a single aim can produce extraordinary results. Without that focus, another year may be spent dabbling in projects, chasing distractions, or starting and abandoning ventures without ever finishing. Purpose provides the focus that makes sustained effort possible, which in turn creates mastery and success. It is not enough to simply work hard. One must work hard on the right thing, and that clarity comes only from definite purpose. Purpose also breeds passion. Many people wonder how to stay motivated, especially when challenges arise, but motivation is a natural outgrowth of pursuing something meaningful. When individuals dedicate themselves to a goal that resonates with their values and dreams, they find within themselves an endless source of energy. Obstacles do not discourage them as easily because they are fueled by conviction. Hill taught that definiteness of purpose is the foundation of persistence, because only a burning desire for a clear goal can keep a person going when others quit. Without such desire, another year may be wasted starting enthusiastically but fading when the first real difficulty appears. With purpose, setbacks become temporary, and persistence becomes natural. Another profound effect of a definite purpose is its ability to attract resources and opportunities. Hill called this the law of attraction in action. When an individual is clear about what they want and committed to pursuing it, their thoughts, words, and behaviors align with that vision. This clarity communicates itself to others, inspiring confidence and drawing support. People are more willing to help someone who knows exactly where they are going. Opportunities that might otherwise go unnoticed stand out because the individual is primed to recognize them. A vague wish attracts little, but a clear purpose creates a magnetic pull that gathers people, resources, and circumstances to assist in its fulfillment. Thus, another year need not be spent waiting passively for luck. Purpose actively draws luck closer. The absence of purpose often leads to regret. People look back on months or years and realize they worked hard but accomplished little of lasting significance. They may have been busy but not fulfilled, constantly chasing urgent tasks without addressing what was truly important. This cycle repeats year after year until entire decades are gone. Hill warned that drifting is one of the most tragic wastes of human potential, because it robs people of the satisfaction of achievement. By defining purpose, one prevents regret before it forms, ensuring that each day contributes to something larger. Instead of looking back on another year wasted, one can look back with pride at progress made toward a meaningful destination. Definiteness of purpose also strengthens self-image. When individuals know what they want and pursue it diligently, they develop confidence in their ability to shape their destiny. They cease to feel like victims of circumstance and begin to see themselves as creators of their future. This confidence radiates outward, influencing how others perceive them. Employers, partners, and peers respect someone who demonstrates direction and conviction, opening doors to even greater opportunities. Without purpose, however, a person often appears uncertain or indecisive, which limits the trust others are willing to place in them. Thus, purpose not only shapes internal confidence, but also external reputation, both of which are essential for success. One of the greatest insights Hill offered is that purpose need not be grandiose or world-changing to be effective. What matters is that it is deeply meaningful to the individual. For one person, it may be building a business. For another, it may be raising a family with love and integrity. For another, it may be mastering a skill or contributing to a cause. The size of the purpose is less important than its clarity and the dedication with which it is pursued. Without it, even small goals are elusive. With it, even great goals become attainable. The tragedy is not in failing to achieve a massive dream, but in never setting a meaningful one at all, thereby letting another year slip by unclaimed. The process of discovering purpose often requires self-reflection. Hill urged individuals to ask themselves, what do I truly want? What excites me? What am I willing to work tirelessly for? What would make this year meaningful? By answering these questions honestly, one begins to uncover the purpose that will direct their energy. Many people avoid this process because it forces them to confront uncomfortable truths about wasted time or unfulfilled desires, but it is precisely this self-honesty that prevents further waste. The clarity gained from defining purpose is worth the discomfort because it transforms the rest of one's life. Purpose also guards against distraction. In today's world, countless diversions compete for attention. Social media, entertainment, trivial tasks, and endless demands from others. Without a strong sense of purpose, it is easy to spend hours, days, or years chasing distractions that produce little value. But when an individual has a burning purpose, distractions lose their appeal. They seem trivial compared to the importance of the goal, and this perspective preserves focus. Each moment is evaluated in terms of whether it serves the purpose, making it less likely that another year will vanish in triviality. Finally, a definite purpose creates fulfillment. Humans are wired to seek meaning, and without it, even comfort and wealth can feel empty. A year spent without purpose may provide temporary pleasures, but rarely leaves a lasting sense of satisfaction. A year spent in pursuit of a definite aim, however, feels rewarding, regardless of whether the goal is fully achieved. The journey itself becomes meaningful because it is aligned with personal values and aspirations. Hill's philosophy teaches that success is not only about reaching a destination, but about the sense of progress and growth experienced along the way. With purpose, every day contributes to this fulfillment, and no year is wasted. Time is the one resource that cannot be replaced, yet it is often treated as if it were infinite. Napoleon Hill stressed that wasting time is the same as wasting life, because each day gone is a piece of opportunity lost forever. To master time is to master life, and the key to this mastery lies in self-discipline. Many people begin the year with vague hopes, grand resolutions, or ambitious goals, yet when the months slip by, they realize they are still in the same place as before. This stagnation is rarely caused by lack of knowledge or opportunity. It is caused by poor time management and the failure to discipline oneself to act in alignment with goals. Another year is wasted when hours are scattered on distractions, procrastination, and meaningless pursuits. To prevent this, one must learn how to guard time with the same vigilance one would protect wealth, for time is in fact the greatest wealth of all. Self-discipline is the bridge between intention and execution. It is not enough to know what needs to be done. The real challenge lies in doing it consistently, even when motivation is absent. Hill often spoke about the destructive power of procrastination. Procrastination appears harmless in the moment, delaying a task by a day, indulging in small distractions, or convincing oneself that tomorrow will be better. But accumulated over weeks and months, procrastination becomes a thief that steals years. A single hour wasted each day becomes more than 365 hours at the end of a year, which is the equivalent of more than 9 40-hour work weeks. That is over 2 months of full-time effort lost, simply because time was not managed with discipline. Hill believed that to live without discipline is to surrender control of one's destiny, because it allows external forces and fleeting impulses to dictate the use of life's most precious resource. Mastering time requires awareness of how it is currently being spent. Many individuals believe they are busy, but busyness does not equal productivity. Hours are often consumed by low-value activities such as excessive entertainment, unproductive conversations, or endlessly reacting to demands from others instead of focusing on personal priorities. Self-discipline begins with the willingness to evaluate one's daily routines with honesty. Where is time being wasted? What habits drain energy without contributing to growth? This self-audit, it can be uncomfortable, but it is essential. Each wasted hour is an invisible cost, and without the courage to confront it, another year will vanish unnoticed. Hill insisted that successful people treat time as sacred, scheduling it carefully and ensuring that their daily actions align with their higher purpose. Another element of mastering time is prioritization. Not all tasks are equal, and failing to distinguish between what is urgent and what is important leads to wasted effort. Many individuals spend the majority of their time on urgent but unimportant tasks, leaving little energy for the activities that truly drive success. Self-discipline provides the strength to say no to lesser tasks and focus on the ones that matter most. Hill taught that definiteness of purpose helps clarify which activities deserve attention, but without discipline, even a clear purpose cannot prevent distraction. Discipline enforces the order of priorities, ensuring that high-value actions come first, and only after they are complete does one attend to smaller tasks. A year can be transformed simply by consistently dedicating the first hours of each day to meaningful work instead of allowing them to be consumed by trivialities. One of the most powerful aspects of discipline is habit formation. Human beings are creatures of habit, and much of daily life is governed by automatic routines. Without discipline, Habits tend to form around comfort and pleasure, sleeping late, indulging in unhealthy foods, seeking entertainment over education, or putting off hard work. These habits quietly waste enormous amounts of time and potential, but discipline allows one to consciously design habits that build success, rising early, reading daily, exercising regularly, dedicating focused time to important projects, and avoiding distractions. Once established, these habits no longer require constant willpower. They become automatic drivers of progress. Hill emphasized that excellence is not achieved through occasional bursts of effort, but through consistent habits repeated daily. Each disciplined choice is small in isolation, but compounded over weeks and months, it creates transformation. Self-discipline also involves emotional control, which is directly tied to time management. Many people lose time not only to distractions, but also to unchecked emotions, anger, resentment, fear, or discouragement. These states can consume hours or even days, leaving individuals unable to focus productively. Hill argued that mastering the mind is as important as mastering the schedule, because negative emotions cloud judgment and lead to wasted effort. Discipline requires the ability to pause, reflect, and regain composure, rather than allowing emotions to dictate behavior. This inner control ensures that time is used productively even under pressure, turning challenges into learning experiences instead of lost opportunities. Another way discipline preserves time is by cultivating decisiveness. Hill observed that successful people make decisions quickly and firmly, while unsuccessful people delay endlessly, waiting for perfect conditions or fearing mistakes. Indecision is itself a waste of time. Hours, days, or even years can be spent in hesitation, analyzing options without ever committing. Discipline pushes a person to act, to test ideas, and to adjust along the way. Even imperfect action produces results and learning, while hesitation produces nothing but regret. By disciplining oneself to make decisions promptly and stick with them, time is invested in progress rather than drained by uncertainty. Discipline in time management also extends to how one interacts with others. Many people lose years of potential by giving away their time too freely, agreeing to obligations that do not align with their goals, entertaining endless requests from others, or remaining in unproductive relationships that drain energy. Hill stressed the importance of surrounding oneself with the right people, but discipline is required to enforce boundaries. Saying no to time, wasting commitments is often difficult, but it is essential to preserving time for what truly matters. A single year filled with misaligned commitments can rob a person of progress toward their own dreams. Discipline ensures that personal goals remain the priority. Technology and modern life present new challenges to discipline. Endless notifications, social media feeds, and entertainment options constantly compete for attention. Without discipline, one can lose hours each day in mindless scrolling or passive consumption. Over a year, this adds up to weeks or months of lost time. To prevent this, discipline must be applied to create boundaries with technology, limiting distractions, setting specific times for use, and prioritizing creation over consumption. Hill might not have lived in the digital age, but his principles apply perfectly. Control your environment, or it will control you. Discipline is the tool that keeps modern distractions from becoming modern regrets. Hill also taught that discipline and time management are tied to the principle of opportunity cost. Every hour spent on one activity is an hour not spent on another. Wasting time on trivialities is not neutral. It is a trade-off that prevents progress toward meaningful goals. Recognizing this cost brings urgency to each day. Discipline makes one conscious of these trade-offs, asking, "Is this the best use of my time? Will this action bring me closer to my purpose?" Without this awareness, Another year can pass with effort expended on low-value tasks, while the high-value ones remain undone. Discipline protects against this hidden cost by constantly aligning actions with priorities. Ultimately, discipline transforms time into progress. Each disciplined hour compounds like interest in a bank account, building momentum and results. Without discipline, time evaporates, leaving behind nothing but regret. Hill's message is clear. Life is too short to waste another year in procrastination, distraction, and drifting. Mastery of time through self-discipline is the only way to ensure that the days add up to something meaningful. A year may seem long when it begins, but without discipline, it disappears quickly, and the same cycle repeats. With discipline, however, each day contributes to growth, and the year becomes a foundation for future success. A positive mental attitude is one of the most powerful assets a person can possess, and Napoleon Hill emphasized it as a cornerstone of success. Without it, opportunities are easily overlooked, challenges feel insurmountable, and even the simplest tasks become burdensome. With it, setbacks become lessons, failures become stepping stones, and life itself feels filled with possibility. The way an individual thinks determines how they interpret the events of their life, and that interpretation shapes their responses. If one views every difficulty as proof of defeat, another year can be wasted in discouragement and inaction. But if one views the same difficulty as temporary and sees within it the seed of opportunity, the year becomes one of growth, resilience, and accomplishment. Hill argued that the mind acts as both a magnet and a lens. It attracts circumstances consistent with dominant thoughts, and it colors the way those circumstances are perceived. Maintaining a positive mental attitude ensures that both attraction and perception work in favor of progress instead of against it. The influence of attitude on action is profound. People with negative attitudes often hesitate to try new things, doubting their abilities before they begin. They waste time imagining failure rather than investing time in creating success. This mental state paralyzes initiative, and initiative is essential for moving forward. On the other hand, a positive mental attitude instills confidence that effort is worthwhile, that problems can be solved, and that persistence will eventually yield results. This belief fuels action, and action produces momentum. Over the course of a year, small actions taken consistently under the influence of a positive mind set accumulate into significant achievements. Conversely, a year dominated by negativity leads to stagnation, frustration, and regret. Hill's wisdom reminds us that attitude is the hidden force that either accelerates progress or halts it entirely. One of the unique strengths of a positive mental attitude is its ability to turn adversity into advantage. No life is free of challenges. Failures, losses, disappointments, and obstacles are inevitable. Many people allow these experiences to break their spirit, convincing themselves that circumstances are too difficult or that success is impossible. But Hill taught that within every adversity lies the seed of equal or greater benefit, and it is the positive attitude that allows a person to see and cultivate that seed. For example, a failed business might at first appear as wasted time, but to the individual with a positive outlook, it becomes a source of valuable lessons about strategy, resilience, and decision-making. These lessons, applied in the future, often lead to greater success than would have been possible without the initial failure. Over a year, the difference in outcome between someone who treats setbacks as final defeats and someone who treats them as temporary and educational is enormous. Positive mental attitude also influences relationships, which are essential for success. People are naturally drawn to those who uplift, inspire, and radiate optimism. No one enjoys the company of constant complainers, critics, or pessimists because their energy drains motivation and spreads doubt. A person with a positive attitude, however, attracts cooperation, trust, and goodwill. They inspire others to believe in themselves and to collaborate toward shared goals. Hill emphasized that success rarely occurs in isolation. It requires teamwork, partnerships, and networks of support. A positive mental attitude acts as the glue that builds these connections. Over the span of a year, the relationships cultivated through positivity can open doors that negativity would have kept shut. Another critical aspect is the effect of attitude on health and energy. A negative mindset often produces stress, anxiety, and exhaustion, all of which weaken both body and mind. Days spent in worry or resentment sap energy that could have been directed toward progress. A positive mindset, by contrast, fosters resilience, reduces stress, and energizes the spirit. It creates enthusiasm, and enthusiasm is contagious, within oneself and to others. With enthusiasm, long hours of work feel lighter, and persistence feels natural. Over the course of a year, this higher energy level leads to greater productivity and fulfillment, while negativity leads to fatigue and wasted time. Hill understood that the mind and body are inseparably linked, and nurturing positivity in the mind directly improves one's capacity to act effectively in the world. A positive mental attitude also expands perception of opportunity. Two people may face the same circumstances, yet one sees nothing of value, while the other discovers countless possibilities. The difference lies not in the external world, but in the internal mindset. The negative thinker dismisses opportunities with excuses. It won't work. It's too risky. I'm not ready. The positive thinker asks, how can I make this work? What can I learn from this? What's the first step I can take? This shift from dismissal to curiosity is transformative. Over the span of a year, the negative thinker may remain in the same situation, while the positive thinker seizes opportunities, learns from them, and grows. Hill's insight is that opportunity rarely appears in a perfect package. It often looks like hard work or even failure. Only a positive attitude has the vision to recognize its true potential. Discipline of thought is essential in maintaining a positive attitude. Negativity creeps in easily through doubts, fears, criticism from others, or repeated exposure to discouraging environments. Hill warned that the mind must be guarded like a fortress. Just as one would not allow thieves to enter their home, one should not allow destructive thoughts to dominate the mind. Affirmations, visualization, gratitude, and surrounding oneself with positive influences are practical tools to cultivate and protect a healthy attitude. Over time, these practices recondition the subconscious mind, making positivity the default state rather than something that requires constant effort. A year spent in conscious cultivation of positive thought becomes a year of inner transformation, while a year of neglect allows negativity to dominate and dictate outcomes. Positive attitude also enhances problem solving. When challenges arise, the negative thinker feels trapped, seeing only obstacles and limitations. This narrow focus blinds them to solutions. The positive thinker, however, views the same problem as a puzzle to be solved and remains open to creative ideas. This open-mindedness allows them to experiment, adapt, and innovate. Many breakthroughs in life and business come not from avoiding problems, but from approaching them with optimism and persistence. Over time, a year filled with problems tackled with positivity results in growth and new opportunities, while the same year faced with negativity results in paralysis and lost potential. Hill's teaching makes clear that a positive mental attitude is not naive optimism or blind denial of reality. It does not mean ignoring difficulties or pretending everything is perfect. Instead, it is the deliberate choice to focus on possibilities rather than limitations. to interpret events in a way that empowers action rather than prevents it. It is rooted in faith, faith in oneself, in others, and in the principle that life rewards persistence and constructive thought. This faith provides the courage to act even in uncertain circumstances, turning potential into reality. Without it, another year is easily wasted in doubt, hesitation, and fear. With it, even imperfect steps forward accumulate into meaningful progress. The consequences of neglecting attitude are severe. A person may have clear goals and sufficient time, but without positivity, they lack the emotional fuel to pursue them. Negativity corrodes willpower, damages relationships, blinds one to opportunity, and drains energy. Even a year of disciplined effort can feel wasted if pursued with a negative mindset, because negativity erodes satisfaction and leaves one feeling unfulfilled. Conversely, a positive attitude makes even modest progress feel rewarding, encouraging further effort and persistence. Hill's insight is that success is not only about external achievements, but also about the internal state of mind. A year spent with positivity is a year of growth, even if the external results are still unfolding. In the end, the choice of attitude belongs to each individual. Life will present difficulties, opportunities, and uncertainties regardless of one's preference. The deciding factor in whether these experiences lead to growth or to waste is the mindset applied to them. Hill's timeless reminder is that cultivating a positive mental attitude is not optional for those who wish to succeed. It is essential. It is the lens through which life is experienced, and it determines whether the next year becomes another chapter of regret or a step closer to fulfillment. Each day presents the choice, and the accumulation of those choices defines the course of an entire year. Decisive action is one of the most critical principles Napoleon Hill emphasized for anyone who wishes to avoid wasting another year of their life. The ability to make decisions quickly and confidently, and then act upon them, separates those who achieve success from those who remain stagnant. Many people lose precious months, or even years not because they lack intelligence or ambition, but because they hesitate, overanalyze, or wait for perfect conditions before taking action. This tendency to procrastinate is often rooted in fear of failure, fear of criticism, or fear of making the wrong choice. Yet Hill insisted that indecision is itself a form of failure, because while one waits and doubts, opportunities slip away. Life is constantly moving, and those who hesitate are left behind by those who are willing to act. Decisive action does not mean reckless or thoughtless behavior. Rather, it means having the courage to move forward with determination once sufficient information has been gathered. Hill studied many of the most successful individuals of his time and found a common thread. They had the habit of making decisions promptly and sticking with them, unless a compelling reason required change. This contrasts with unsuccessful people who make decisions slowly, change them often, and rarely commit fully to a chosen path. Over the course of a year, this difference in decision-making habits can create vastly different results. The person who acts decisively gains experience, learns from mistakes, and builds momentum, while the indecisive person remains stuck in planning, doubting, or second-guessing. One of the hidden dangers of indecision is that it becomes a habit. A single postponed choice may seem insignificant, but repeated over time, it weakens willpower and creates a pattern of avoidance. This pattern accumulates, and before long, a year passes with little accomplished because action was continually delayed. Hill referred to procrastination as one of the most common enemies of success, and he warned that it robs people of their potential silently. The tragedy of procrastination is that it often disguises itself as preparation. People convince themselves they are waiting for the right moment, gathering more information, or perfecting their plan. While there is value in careful planning, there is also a point at which additional delay no longer adds value, and instead becomes an excuse. Decisive action requires the wisdom to recognize when preparation has served its purpose, and when it is time to act. Acting decisively also builds confidence. Each time a person makes a choice and follows through, they reinforce their belief in their own ability to create results. Even when the outcome is imperfect, the act of committing and learning from the experience strengthens character. Conversely, indecision erodes self-confidence because it trains the mind to associate choice with fear and hesitation. A year spent practicing decisiveness becomes a year of growth in self-trust, while a year spent avoiding decisions becomes a year of doubt. Hill understood that success is not guaranteed in every action, but certainty of failure belongs to those who never act at all. The courage to move forward, even when unsure, is what transforms potential into reality. Another important aspect of decisive action is timing. Opportunities rarely wait for perfect conditions. Many of the most rewarding chances in life come disguised as challenges, appearing when circumstances are less than ideal. Those who hesitate in hopes of greater clarity often find the opportunity has passed by the time they are ready. The decisive person, however, acts with urgency and seizes opportunities when they arise. Hill emphasized that fortune favors the bold, not because boldness eliminates risk, but because boldness ensures that action is taken before chances disappear. Over the span of a year, the difference in outcomes between someone who acts when opportunity knocks and someone who hesitates can be extraordinary. Decisive action also requires commitment. Once a decision is made, it must be carried out with persistence and focus. Half-hearted effort produces little, and constantly changing one's mind wastes energy. Hill noted that successful people change decisions slowly, if at all, because they understand that true results come from consistent effort applied over time. Those who constantly abandon one path to chase another lose momentum and often end the year with many unfinished projects. The decisive person chooses carefully, commits fully, and sees things through to completion. This consistency creates mastery, achievement, and satisfaction, while indecision creates regret. Fear of criticism is one of the greatest barriers to decisive action. Many people delay making choices because they worry about what others will think if they fail. Hill identified fear of criticism as one of the most destructive mental enemies because it paralyzes initiative. Yet those who act decisively understand that criticism is inevitable, whether one acts or does nothing. They choose to be criticized for pursuing progress rather than for remaining stagnant. Over the course of a year, the willingness to act despite criticism builds resilience and independence, while avoiding decisions out of fear leads to conformity and mediocrity. Another way decisive action creates advantage is through learning. No one has perfect foresight, and not every decision will lead directly to success. But every decision, if acted upon, produces feedback. That feedback is information, and information is growth. The person who makes 10 decisions in a year, even with some failures, learns 10 times more than the person who avoids decisions altogether. This accumulated learning compounds into wisdom and effectiveness, which in turn lead to greater opportunities. Hill believed that failure is not permanent unless one refuses to try again. Decisive action ensures that each failure is temporary, and each step forward is a step toward eventual success. Decisive action is also closely connected with leadership. Leaders are expected to make choices and guide others, and people naturally follow those who show conviction and direction. Indecision, on the other hand, breeds confusion and erodes trust. Even in personal life, friends, colleagues, and family respect those who act with clarity more than those who remain in hesitation. Over time, a decisive person becomes a source of inspiration and influence, attracting cooperation and support. This creates a multiplying effect, where each decision not only advances the individual, but also encourages others to act boldly. Ultimately, Decisive action is about valuing time. A year is a limited resource, and once it is gone, it cannot be reclaimed. Hill's warning not to waste another year carries the reminder that every day of indecision is a day lost forever. Acting decisively ensures that time is invested rather than squandered. Even imperfect decisions, made and executed, produce progress, while perfect decisions postponed produce nothing. The essence of Hill's teaching is that success belongs to those who act, who take risks, who commit, and who learn. To waste another year in hesitation is to deny oneself the growth and fulfillment that come only from action. Decisive action is the bridge between thought and reality, between intention and result, between dreams and achievement. It is the discipline of choosing boldly, moving forward, and trusting that persistence will turn efforts into success.